Nobel laureate Narges Mohammadi on hunger strike and detention in Iran. Foundation says Nobel Peace Prize laureate Narges Mohammadi is on hunger strike whilst being held in detention by Iranian authorities, according to a statement from her foundation. In the statement shared exclusively with Kun, the Paris-based foundation, which is run by her family, says it received credible information that Mohammadi began her strike on Monday to protest her unlawful detention and the dire conditions in which she is being held, realities faced by numerous political prisoners currently held in Iran. Ali Rahmani, Mohammadi's son, said in a statement that he was deeply worried about his mother and everyone else detained by the regime. "What is happening in our country is a crime against humanity," Rahmani said, adding that before her arrest, his mother was calling for solidarity, unity, and peace. Mohammadi was arrested in December by security and police force during a memorial ceremony for Khosrow Alaikorde, a laureate and human rights activist who was found dead in his office was arrested in Mashhad, Iran's second-largest city. The foundation said that due to Mohammadi's medical history, which includes heart attacks, chest pain, high blood pressure, as well as spinal disc issues and other illnesses, her continued detention is extremely dangerous and a violation of human rights laws. The Nobel Peace Prize laureate has also been restricted access to her family, the foundation said, and has only had one phone call with her brother on December 2, with no contact since then. Daghe Rahmani, Mohammadi's husband, said authorities were demanding that when his wife make calls, she says all is well. But the Narges would now refuse to submit to such pressure. She insists on speaking her truth, he said. They also know that if she is released, she will immediately rescind her activism, as she views rejoining the people her duty, take he added. Narges will never be silenced, and it is her voice that they fear most. A Reghan critic, one of Iran's most prominent human rights activists, Mohammadi won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2010. She has spent most of the past 2 decades as an inmate of Tehran's Evin prison, notorious for detaining critics of the regime. December 2020, Iranian authorities suspended her prison term for 3 weeks to allow her to recover from a surgery to remove part of a bone in her lower right leg, where doctors had discovered a lesion suspected of being cancerous. Mohammadi was expected to return to prison soon afterward, but she had remained on furlough until December's arrest. She has been sentenced to multiple prison terms totaling 3 years on charges that include acting against national security and spreading propaganda, according to the Narges Foundation. Supporters say she is a political prisoner, detained for working to advance women's rights and democracy. In these difficult days for our country, Iran, we ask human rights organizations, activists, and the global community to think of the political prisoners in detention centers and put practical actions on the agenda to save their lives, the foundation said Wednesday in a narrow detention cell in Iran, where clocks lose meaning and silence is enforced. Narges Mohammadi has chosen to speak in the only language left to her, hunger. The Nobel Peace Prize laureate, long known for transforming pain into purpose, is on hunger strike while held by Iranian authorities, according to a statement from her family-run foundation. It is not a quiet act. It is a deliberate, dangerous, and deeply human declaration that injustice, when ignored, must be confronted with the body itself. The foundation, based in Paris, says it received credible information that Mohammadi began her hunger strike on Monday to protest her unlawful detention and the harsh conditions in which she is being held, conditions shared by countless political prisoners across Iran. The strike is not just about her own suffering. It is a stand taken on behalf of those whose names the world may never learn, but whose lives are equally constrained by walls, fear, and neglect. Her son, Ali Rahmani, speaks with the urgency of someone watching distance stretch into helplessness. He says he is deeply worried about his mother and about all those detained by the regime. What is happening in Iran, he says, is nothing less than a crime against humanity. Before her arrest, he recalls, his mother was calling not for revenge or chaos, but for solidarity, unity, and peace, words that carry extraordinary weight in a system that thrives on division and silence. Mohammadi was arrested in December during a memorial ceremony for Khosrow Alaikorde, a laureate and fellow human rights activist who was found dead in his office. Even remembrance has become suspect. She was detained in Mashhad, Iran's second-largest city, far from international eyes, yet never far from global conscience. The message was unmistakable. Even grief can be punished if it dares to gather people together. What makes her hunger strike especially alarming is her fragile health. Her medical history includes heart attacks, chronic chest pain, high blood pressure, spinal disc problems, and other serious illnesses. Just months earlier, authorities had temporarily suspended her prison sentence to allow her to recover from surgery to remove part of a bone in her lower right leg, where doctors suspected a